Hey guys, in this video I'm going to build a shop using Giraffe Flow Builder. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here is my shop. Hey guys, I have built this shop using, it's a supermarket using Giraffe Flow Builder. And in this video I'm going to build it again from scratch to show you how I did it. We've got checkouts, we've got some mullions holding up a glass wall, we've got some nice shelves with some poles, some structure holding those shelves up, and then we've lined the outside of the supermarket with fridges, and we have some floors. So let's start again. Now in Giraffe, flows hang on geometries. So I can draw a new rectangle representing my new shop, and then I can start a new flow on that geometry. And I click on that to get the flow builder. So I'm going to offset the polygon in 5 meters, and then I'm going to offset a line 1 meter, and then I am going to use stroke dash array to get a subset of that line. And the way I do that is we create a very long stroke dash. There it is, 100 meters, probably too long. Maybe let's go to 88 meters, something like that. And you can see the stroke dash is just now a subset of that line. And the dash, if I bring it out, is the other side. So the line is stroke dash, there's the strokes, there's the dash. And the stroke dash has this start, offset at start, which is going to push this line sort of further and further away from the start. And then that line is exactly 85 meters. So it's a bit of a hack. It's not the most elegant system, but it's going to work for our uses. And on that stroke, I'm going to run the apartment algorithm, actually. And I'm going to set everything to 1 bed. And I'm going to set the size of those 1 beds to 10 meters. And then we're just going to zero out the right apartment. There we go. And we're going to zero out the start and the ends. There we go. And we're going to set the left depth to the minimum that apartment can handle, which is actually 5 meters. So you can see when I go to 5, it actually cleans itself and jumps down. So we'll fix that up in a second. And now because it's 100% 1 beds, I'm going to pull out the 1 beds and I'm going to assign a usage to them that is called fridge. And I'm going to set that levels to 1. And let's just save to get our progress rather. Okay, so we can see now we've got these fridges lining the outside of our rectangle. And there's something wrong with the offset. You can see that fridge oversteps the line. It looks by about exactly 1 meter. So I'm going to go in and just crank that down to 6. So -6 means 6 inwards, not 6 outwards. And then that aligns perfectly. And I like fiddling with the parameters. Like if we're changing the parameters, this view here is much better than this view here because you actually see the impact on the map in real time. Okay, so we've done the fridges, which is good, and it took us a while, but we got there. Now I'm just going to create a floor, and I'm going to call this a plaza, assign the usage plaza, delete all this stuff, and I'm going to add a color property, and that color is going to be our branding color. Ooh, I can't live with that. I can just live with that. All right, at least we now can see what's in and outside of our supermarket. And I think now it's time for us to create the grid that's going to be our shelves. So I'm actually going to take this offset. Actually, you know what? I'll make it completely decoupled. I'm going to take the original polygon, the original feature. I'm going to offset it in 7, and I'm going to assign the grid fill. And we're much more interested in the lines in this case than the points. So I'm going to turn the points off, and I'm going to get rid of that boundary offset. Oh, that will not save. So if that boundary offset goes to 0, that crashes. So let's make sure that doesn't happen again. I'm just starting again. Turn off the points, turn on the lines, generate the break lines, let's get that boundary offset to 1. Oh, okay, that's just not going to happen whatsoever. All right. You know what? I'm still going to publish this video even though there's those bugs, just so you can see how I deal with it. And this, these kind of algorithms are complex and they do fail, but I don't think we've got a problem. We can still get where we need to get. I'm going to get those Y lines out, and before I get them out, I'm going to offset them again in the positive, and I'll do it by 0.7, so it'll be 0.7 meters on both sides, and that's going to be the 700 millimeter wide or deep shelf. And I've got this use shelf, which I've just assigned like you would any usage. Okay, so I'm going to save that. All right, beautiful. And in all of that crashing and bugs, I lost my floor. So I'll bring my floor back. Plaza. Color. I guess we have a chance to revisit the color, which is positive. Maybe like a natural stony color. Probably too dark, but we'll give it a go. Oof, yeah, not good, not good. Okay. So we can see the shelves, we can see the fridges. Now these shelves are probably way too far apart. So if I tap the L key, that's 9 meters, that's, and even just visually you can see that's too far apart. So if we go to the grid and we shrink the grid down, we can get them much closer. That looks way better. And we can probably, this polygon's probably correctly offset. And we can generate these break lines, which will extend those lines out. And when we do that, we see probably this polygon is not correctly offset. So let's just bring it in. Yeah, 8 meters. Well, too many. 8 was good. Okay. So now we have the fridges, and on the rear of our store, we have our shelves. Let's create some, and we've got our floor. Let's just create some structure in the shelves. So what I'll do here is I'll duplicate this out, and I will array along these lines, array, and we'll space these things every 3 meters. These are points, and we'll offset these points by 0.1 meters, so they'll be 200 mil diameter, and then we're not even going to add a usage, we're going to add a color and a height. Oh, actually, we set the usage region, just region, which is this generic region. And the height we can set to, say, 4 meters, and the color's the color. And if we save, we have some structure. So we have some nice, some poles that are giving a bit of color to our shelves. All right, so the next thing that I did was, the final thing I did a little indicative wall around the supermarket. And the way I did that was duplicated this guy out and then just arrayed along the edge, and then similar to the structure over here, offset the arrays by 0.1. And we could use, I'll show you the stroke dash method, which makes square polygons. So we'd use stroke dash, and we go 0.2, and then the window we set to 3 or something. And so then we get the strokes in the dashes. You see these little short strokes, and we're going to offset the polygon. But now we're going to get like a rectangle, and we'll offset them 0.1. And again, we'll just go region, and let's make them dark. And the property height, we're going to set to 4. Save. Hey, there we go. All right, so we've got these nice like square mullions, and if we want to, I think we can get 5 meter wide windows, or at least 4 meter wide windows, and maybe we can get these to 0.1. There you go, a bit thinner. Okay, that's cool. There we go. There we go. All right, so now I've got this interactive shop, which is pretty cool. It's not probably world beating, and you can see where it's failing. It's failing because the apartment algorithm is trying to wrap itself around these corners. And if we go into that, it's because this stroke dash is too long. So if we shrink stroke dash, then rather than wrapping around the corner, that stroke dash just becomes these 3 sides. And so we can sort of apply, this kind of, get this a bit more logical. But that's actually pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool. I kind of like these angles. Let's put a little forest on the outside. You know, maybe we're saying, hey, we're going to do a little compact supermarket, and that's going to give us a. If I pop it on the right layer, a nice forest. So I'm going to unround those corners because you see those are clipping. So I'll take that to 0.1 or maybe 1. Yeah, that's cool. And my trees aren't appearing because I have to clear my cache, which I'll do in a second. But before I do that, let's build a couple things. So I may say, look, I actually want to put a cafe next to the supermarket. And the way I would do that, I wouldn't try and use the flow builder to do that. I'd just put like the cafe directly. All right, I'm on the wrong layer. There we go. And so then now I've got like my little cafe here. And then the other thing I want is some checkout zones. So I will just draw them as a rectangle, and then I'll use the subdivision tool, subdivide to lots. And the envelope is what I'm after. And I'm just going to do that. And the output of this envelope, I am going to make a region. And I'm going to add this property height again. You can see I'm doing this quite a lot. And a color red. And that height, I'm just going to say is 1 meter. And those are the checkouts. There we go. That's looking good. Now I'm going to separate them from each other a bit more by increasing the side setback. Too much. 0.8 maybe. There we go. And we're solving for a frontage, so maybe I solve for the 3 meter frontage and go up to a 1.3 meter, 1.1 meters. There we go. Okay, cool. So now I've got like these nice checkout aisles, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. So I'm gonna just go through everything again. This has been a 12-minute video, and I have gone quite fast, and I've solved a bug. So if you've kept up, well done, thank you. First, we did the fridges by offsetting a polygon in, using stroke dash to get a small subset of the line, and then assigning the apartment algorithm to the outside. Next, we set the floor as a usage, so we output the floor just as a plaza and overrode the color to something more suitable for our brand. Ooh, everything's blue. Next, we use the offset algorithm and the grid algorithm to create lines, which we then offset to create shelves. And then this park, this cafe, and this checkout, we drew as separate elements because hooking it all together was going to be too exhausting. And I just can't emphasize enough, if you're planning out a supermarket that's going to cost $10 million to build, just spend the extra 10 seconds drawing it out exactly as you want it, fully flexible, rather than attempting to get everything captured in the algorithm. That being said, if you have to draw 100 supermarkets and they all have a cafe that addresses a park, we could build a way of extracting that cafe quite easily. And you know what? I'm going to extend this movie out. I don't know whether people will like it, but let's actually do that for those who are interested. And I'll show you how I would do that. I would take this stroke dash. So this stroke is coming out and it's getting assigned directly to apartments. So what we would do is we would do another stroke dash, and we'd offset the length of our cafe. So let's say our cafe is 10 meters. And then we would set this thing to like 200. Okay. And so now we're getting the cafe, which is the dash, and then the stroke, which is this apartment over here. And then the dash, what you do is you would offset the dash, offset polygon. We'd only offset it to the right, and we'd offset it by 5. Not -5, but +5. We may actually offset it to the left. No, it's to the right. And then we would assign the usage community. So you probably create a usage called cafe. And we'd save. Okay, and now what I can do is I can delete the manually drawn community or drag it out over there and show you that we've got this automatic community here. Now, the problem is, okay, it's offset to the wrong side. So community, we would offset the poly to the left. There, okay, that's on the right side. And now we need to find out what's wrong with the fridge. Our friend in the fridge. Okay, so the apartment algorithm's failing. So maybe what I would do is do this to 50. No, 50, 100. And maybe not 50, maybe 30. You can see exactly why this is not the right way to go. Let's reduce the offset. There we go. Okay, we're doing it. There we go. So now I've got this cafe coming from the stroke. And then we've got this mega long fridge section. All right. When is this going to fail? Okay, so this apartment algorithm doesn't like going around corners too much. It cleans them up because corners cause issues. There we go. All right, so now we've got a programmatic community placement and a parable, an indicative parable about why it's way better just to draw it, because every variable you add to the algorithm, every parameter, introduces a new way of it failing. Although it is always fun, like, you know, seeing this. And that may not represent the cafe, that may represent the bakery or the deli or the vegetable section or something like that. And just one more thing I'll show you, and then I will stop recording, is say we wanted to do the fresh fruit and veg. We can use some of the cool parameterizations here, like at this exclusion zone. We can say, you know what, get rid of these shelves over here, and then we'll draw. So what I could do now is I could say, okay, I'm going to create my fresh food and veg like this, and the way I'll do that is make some green boxes. Because, and I may actually, let's just change the subdivision so they look a bit different to those checkouts. So maybe we're targeting a frontage of 4, and yeah, perfect. That looks great. Cool. That's it looks nice. Or at least I like it. I've become attached to it as I've raised it from a babe. And the areas are all out. We know exactly what our shelf GFA or GBA is, how much community or bakery we're getting, how much fridge space. We can count up all the mulligans, all the perimeters, all the areas. So just because it's from analytics doesn't mean it's from generative or flow doesn't mean we lose any of those analytical properties.